Dale, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We sit here the day after the Royal London Cup group stages draw to a close, and as Gloucestershire narrowly missed out on a quarter-final place by net run rate. Winning 5 out of 8 games, many people would have thought that would have been enough to get us through to the next stage. Do you feel we played well enough throughout the competition to progress?
Yeah, I think it was obviously a bitter pill yesterday, but I think we left too much in other people's hands. We did have 2 games where I felt we had opportunities to win against Sussex and against Leicestershire. But in saying that, I agree. I think we had to win 5 out of 8. I think is great progression from the season that we've had. I do feel our white ball cricket in both forms, the T20 and the 50 over, was good, and I felt we had good teams. I think this tournament was quite refreshing because we obviously missed the guys that have gone to the 100, but it gave opportunities to some of the younger players in the squad. But I feel we had quite a nice balance of sort of experienced and youth in the team.
And in terms of the performances throughout the tournament as a whole, we played pretty exciting cricket. There was some really good individual performances in there, and we'll speak about those in just a second. But on the overall performances and how the team carried themselves throughout the tournament, you must have been delighted.
Yeah, I think as I say, we've been through some tough times, and I just feel that the team is starting to gel together. I think we're starting to understand each other as coach and players, and also coaching staff. I feel is starting to gel together as well. So that is exciting. Getting 300 or over 300 twice in the competition, and getting 360 against Durham is an incredible effort batting wise, and then chasing down over 300 here just showed the cricket that we can produce. It's just about doing it consistently. I feel our bowling has been probably below par over the last few months in most formats, whereas I felt our last 2 games in this competition, our bowling, you can see some improvement there, and then finishing off with beating Middlesex at Radlett, which is probably one of their preferred grounds, was largely down to our bowling performance. So as much as the batting, and there were great individual performances and team performances with the bat, exciting thing for me was seeing our bowling really improving and actually starting to become a factor in us winning games as well.
And on the bowling then, while you mention it, a couple of names to mention. Zafar Gohar, he took 13 wickets throughout the tournament. Tom Price came up with a good performance. He took 4 wickets early on in the competition as well. Jack Taylor as well, the captain's performances, chipping in with handy wickets here and there as well. On the younger bowlers, you must be delighted to see them coming through and really stepping up to take those wickets.
Yeah, I think there's some experienced spinners there, and I think we relied on them to keep or to take the pressure really for us. But I think Edge not being fit at the beginning of the tournament, coming off an injury, we had to wait a little bit to feel that time was right to play him. But I think he was exceptional in the 2 games that he played, and as you say, Tom Price was a little bit inconsistent, but when he is good, he's really good. So there were a lot of good things out of there. Shoei and Warner as well. I think there was sometimes the figures didn't really show it, but there's a lot of improvement, a lot more confidence coming out of those games with their performances. So I think in general, good steps forward. I don't think we're the finished article with the bowling yet. And then not to mention, not to forget to mention Meeks. Paul van Meekeren just gave us that edge with his pace, and he was available every game and played every game, which is a real step forward. So sometimes his figures as well, not the most economical, but he really did give us the edge and got us some wickets that allowed us to win games. So there's some nice pieces of the puzzle starting to come together.
And you mentioned Tom Price there, and the Price brothers in general with the bat. They're both averaging 30 or more with the bat as well. It must be great to see the young lads contributing with the bat and with the ball.
Yeah, I think they are 2 very good cricketers. different, obviously, one bowling off spin and sort of top order batter, and Ollie, and then Tom, I think, gives us that all round seamer contributions, and I think, really attacking options with the bat, a real match winner with the bat at the end of the innings. And I actually still think he's a better player than that. He is a good batsman, so I don't see him being down at the bottom of the order for too long. I'm sure he'll work his way into sort of the middle order and become a genuine all-rounder. So yeah, there's some great signs there. It is a pity that we didn't get through to the knockout stages. I think those pressure games and those pressure rounds often bring out the best in people and are just great experience to be involved in. So it was disappointing having won 5 to not actually progress, but we had quite a strong group, and we did have opportunities to take it out of other people's hands, and we didn't quite do it.
And sticking on the subject of promising young players that we've got here, we've got, Ben Wells started the competition magnificently, and in the latter stages of the competition, Ben Charlesworth came up and stepped up, and he scored 97, a brilliant 97 versus Middlesex. Again, must have been delighted to see that. Yeah,
I think the tournament offers those opportunities, and it's just great that those two guys took their opportunities, and for me as a coach to actually see them in a first team environment under the pressures that the first team offers was great for me, and they definitely can handle it, and they're exciting prospects, and they contributed to our wins, and that's what's important. They just didn't get opportunities, they actually contributed and took those opportunities. So I think the tournament has put us in good light, coming out of quite a tough sort of 4-day campaign and a bit of a disappointing T20 campaign.
And these younger bowlers that we mentioned, you said yourself that they've still got a lot to learn, and with the signing of Marcin De Lange, he's clearly very experienced. He's already said publicly he wants to help teach the younger bowlers a bit more about the game and help bring them through. Do you feel like, whilst he can be great for us on the field, all being well, he can also be great for us off the field and help bring through those younger players?
Yeah, I think that is the benefit and what makes a great overseas signing or senior player signing. So Marcin obviously will hopefully be local in the new year, but even he is obviously from South Africa, but I think that experience, that international experience that he brings on the field is great. But I do feel that the team needs that leadership as well with senior players, and that's another part of players that I saw of the senior players starting to come out in this competition as well. It's just that real leadership and that little bit of a harder edge to win, which I think we have lacked in the other formats. And I definitely think he brings that. He'll bring it with the ball, and I think he will be, as much as he's a mountain of a man, he's actually an unbelievably nice person. But one thing, he is a winner and wants to win, and I think that hard edge that he brings to the team will be great for the bowlers, but also for the team in general.
And speaking of leadership, Jack Taylor, fresh from signing his new contract earlier last month earlier in the year, he had a fantastic tournament, didn't he? 401 runs, an average of 66, 11 wickets, really leading from the front there. Yeah,
I think Jack has stepped up. We need to work on his ability to win the toss. I think he won 1 out of 8, but we ended up doing what we wanted to do, so there's no pressure there. No, but you're right. I think he has stepped up. He has got a great character. He's a tough man, tough competitor, and it does always help when your captain is contributing and making runs and winning games for you. So, and I take my hat off to him with his bowling, having gone through what he had with his off spin, and then to sort of reinvent himself as a leg spinner and start having some meaningful spells with the ball is an amazing credit to his ability, number one, but his resilience, and that after what he's been through. So I'm very pleased for him, and as I said, just disappointed that we couldn't get through to those knockout stages. I did feel that we were a good enough team and we put in good enough performances to get there, but we could have won one or two more to just put it to bed. Yeah.
And elsewhere, there was other senior players that stepped up and made those match-winning contributions. James Bracey scored a century here. Marcus Harris got 90 plus. Chris Dent scored a fantastic century up at Durham, I think it was. So, Jack has been joined by those senior players that have stepped up to help get us to close, but just within touch and distance of that qualification.
Yeah, I think we go through the interview. It just shows that I feel for the first time in one or two games we actually have started having overall performances where everyone is contributing more. I felt during the season there have been one or two that are standing up, but it's not enough in team games and team performances. So those are things that we've mentioned, and it's great to see that it's starting to happen. There were very few people in the squad of 14 that didn't contribute at some stage. So that is a good sign. It does start to show that there's a bit of strength in the depth rather than just relying on one or two players. And I think that also comes from younger players starting to put some pressure on the old boys to actually perform, and that's a healthy environment. Yeah.
And it's looking ahead slightly then as well, that blend of youth and experience, it's clearly worked very effectively for us in the Royal London Cup this year. Is that sort of culture and dressing room environment and taking that onto the field, is that something you want to take forward into next year? Yeah,
I think your best teams are run by the senior players. Things they're the ones out there, and cricket is a game where you spend a lot of time out in the middle. So I do feel we back off a little bit, and it's nothing. It's not a criticism. I think we've got incredibly humble, very talented players, but I do think as senior players they need to believe in themselves a little bit more. Believe they can win. Believe they can take the lead in matches and sort of throw the first punch rather than always be behind and then start to play proper cricket when we're a bit behind. And those discussions have been had a few times, and I just feel it's hard to change a culture that's been there before, and you sort of rely, you're used to that. But I am seeing games now where guys are standing up, guys are starting to talk in the dressing room quite openly, and there's a bit more communication and real communication between players about their performances and where we got to go. And I think it's starting to show in the performances. That bit of a leadership from all the senior players. You don't have to be a captain to be a leader. And once we start being able to handle the honesty and that in the change room, I think you start to move forward. I felt we were a bit quiet over the first few months, and it's understandable because things have changed with me coming in, and some people want to also just see where they stand. But there's definitely a great mood in the camp after this tournament. I feel we're moving in the right direction culturally, but also cricket-wise. So it's been enjoyable.
There's clearly a good feeling in the dressing room at the minute with the competition we've just had and the performance we've just had. Are you looking to continue that high into the county championship and use the energy that's been created in the Royal London Cup and really try and finish the season on a high?
Yeah, I think it is always easier when you've won a few games. The confidence is there, and it's hard to build confidence when you aren't winning and performing. So that is obviously what we've got at the moment. 4-day cricket brings in a whole lot of other challenges, and I think your skill is just tested for longer and longer. Your fitness, your technique. So those things are also not easy to get right in just 2 weeks, but I think we have got the skill and we have got the technique to actually compete, and I think the confidence now will definitely help. And obviously that is the plan, is to finish the season as strongly as we can. And I don't take any game for granted. I don't like to just give people opportunities as well. I think you have to earn those opportunities. So we will still go out to try and win every game. In these last 3 games, we're going to try and play as hard a cricket as we can.
Well, look, Dale, well done on a great tournament in the Royal London Cup. Just fell short, obviously, but good luck as well for the upcoming 3 County Championship games.
Thanks, Jack.